Greetings, welcome to Facts About Everything. I'm your host, James Egan. Most people know that John Carpenter is the director of Halloween, but many people don't know the writer was Bob Clark. Although that name doesn't sound familiar, he was the director of A Christmas Story, said to be one of the greatest Christmas movies ever made. How do you go from that to literally inventing the slasher genre? And that is the first fact about the Halloween series. Let's dive in. Halloween came out in 1978. The Michael Myers mask cost $1.80. Michael Myers was 6 when he committed his first murder. Jamie Lee Curtis played the lead character, Laurie. She got the role because the director thought she was the best screamer when she auditioned. Ever since, she's been nicknamed the Scream Queen. Jamie Lee Curtis is the daughter of Janet Leigh, who played the lead character in the film Psycho. Weirdly, Janet Leigh was also famous for her scream in the famous shower scene in that film. Is Jamie Lee Curtis the first person ever to have a hereditary scream? Also, let me know if you want me to do a video about Psycho. Weirdly, this is the first horror film set in Halloween. Jamie Lee Curtis was certain she was going to be fired on the first day because she thought she was dreadful. Michael's name is said only once at the beginning. The Michael Myers mask is actually a William Shatner mask painted white. Shatner didn't know this for years. When he found out, he was honored. Michael Myers tilts his head when he's observing one of his victims. Weirdly, William Shatner did the exact same thing when he wore the same mask in the 1975 film, The Devil's Reign. It is unknown if this is a reference to that film or a coincidence. The film has one of the most iconic theme songs ever. It is composed by John Carpenter himself. I would love to play it, but I can't because of copyrights are jerks. What's even more astounding is that theme song was created in 4 minutes. Michael Myers' psychiatrist is Loomis. Loomis is the name of Crane's lover in the film Psycho. The budget was too small for costumes, so every actor just wore their own clothes. The original title was The Babysitter Murderers. The budget was only $325,000, but it made a huge $47 million. $47 million doesn't sound like a lot, but that's over 100 times its budget. Jamie Lee Curtis was paid $8,000. Michael Myers' nickname is The Shape. Michael Myers is played by 5 different actors. Michael's middle name is Aubrey. Michael Myers was originally going to wear a red-haired clown mask. Now let's look at the sequel, Halloween 2, which came out in 1981. It is only unveiled in this film that Michael Myers is Laurie's brother. Weirdly, this film was Dana Carvey's theatrical debut. He is most famous for playing Garth in the Wayne World films. Bizarrely, the actor who plays Wayne in these films is called Michael Myers. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch came out in 1981. This is the only film in the Halloween series that does not star Michael Myers. The director assumed that Michael Myers was now dead, so the series should be turned into an anthology series which would deal with a different Halloween-themed horror story in each film. However, viewers were extremely confused and did not understand why Michael wasn't in it. Although this is considered the worst film in the entire series, film critic James Rolfe, also known as Angry Video Game Nerd, said, "I have never met someone who didn't like this movie for any reason except Michael Myers isn't in it." That's a good point, because critics usually complain about this, along with many horror sequels, saying that the films just recycle the same ideas. This is the only one that tried something different, and it was torn apart for it. The tagline for Halloween was, "The night he came home." The tagline for this film is, "The night nobody came home." Halloween 4, Return of Michael Myers came out in 1988. The series creator, John Carpenter, wanted this film to have a mystical quality and wanted to see how Michael Myers' grisly murders affected the inhabitants of the town he terrorized many years ago. He wanted to see townspeople turning on each other and killing one another. After Halloween 3 underperformed at the box office, producers decided to do it the traditional, unoriginal way. Melissa Joan Hart auditioned for the lead role of Jamie. She went on to play the lead in the television series Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Melissa Joan Hart follows me on Twitter. I'm honored, but I don't know why. I don't want to ask in case it's a mistake and then she unfollows me. In one scene, Michael stabs somebody with a gun. Halloween 5, Revenge of Michael Myers came out in 1989. The mysterious man in black follows Michael Myers for the whole film. None of the writers had decided who he was for the entire production. Halloween 6, Curse of Michael Myers came out in 1995. The original title was Halloween 666, The Origin of Michael Myers. This was Paul Rudd's film debut. Donald Pleasence died before he completed all his scenes. The test screening for this film was awful, so the studio created another cut which required reshoots and heavy editing. This infuriated all the cast and crew, mainly because Donald Pleasence was barely in the final cut. He was considered to be the strongest actor in the series, but the director found him boring, so he was left with minimal scenes in the final version. Donald Pleasence is boring? Did the director know who Donald Pleasence is? He's James Bond's most iconic villain. The original cut was only released for the first time on Blu-ray in 2014. In the original cut, a Celtic cult controlled Michael Myers and used him to kill off their enemies. It was so difficult to make this film that the cast and crew joked that the film was cursed. This is what inspired the title, The Curse of Michael Myers. Halloween H20, 20 years later, came out in 1998. Many people thought the title of this film was Halloween Water, since H2O is a chemical symbol for water. The idea to make a Halloween film 20 years after the original was Jamie Lee Curtis's idea. This is the first film in the series to be released in the summer instead of Halloween. This was Josh Hartnett's film debut. Wow, there's a lot of debuts in this series. The original title was Halloween, The Revenge of Laurie Strode. H20 and Resurrection came out in 2002. This film is infamous for having one of the dumbest plot holes in film history. Michael Myers apparently died in the previous film when he was decapitated by Laurie. However, in this film, it is unveiled that just before Michael Myers was confronted by Laurie, he put his mask on a paramedic and crushed his larynx so he couldn't tell anyone that he was not Michael Myers. Here's the problem with this situation. First off, the paramedic just happened to have the same build as Michael. The paramedic was conveniently the same height as Michael. Michael did all of this in a minute before Laurie arrived. And the main thing, why didn't he just take his mask off? The original title was Halloween, The Homecoming. Jamie Lee Curtis only agreed to star in the film if she was killed off. The Halloween reboot came out in 2007. Michael Myers is played by Tyler Mane. He is the tallest actor to play Michael at 6'9". Originally, the studio was going to create a prequel called Halloween: The Missing Years. It would show what happened to Michael while he was in the asylum. This film and its sequel weren't released on Halloween because the studio didn't want to compete with the Saw series. The original title was Halloween: Retribution. During the test screening, the biggest complaint the film received was when Michael killed Danny Trejo's character. That is truly his most evil act. Halloween 2 came out in 2009. This is the first film in the series to clearly show Michael's face. And finally, this is the first film to show Michael speak as an adult. He says, "How creative." Special thanks to these fine people for all their help. Be sure to subscribe to Facts About Everything. Follow me on Twitter for updates on upcoming videos. Check out my Facebook page to let me know what subjects you want me to talk about in the future. Thanks for watching. See you again.